All right, it's been a minute since I've talked about the Exodusters, but we're going to continue that conversation today. What brought or who brought the Exodusters to Kansas? That's kind of the first question you got to ask. How did they get here? Well, combination of things. As I've touched on in previous videos, there was a widespread belief amongst African Americans in the South that Kansas was against slavery, actions of people like John Brown, actions of the abolitionist movement that existed in Kansas, and even people like the Goodnows, who founded Manhattan, had just this huge impact in this idea that Kansas would be a great place to settle. Kansas also has something that a lot of other areas don't have, specifically in the South: land. Lots of land and open tracts of it. Combine that with the Homestead Act, where settlers would be able to get tracts of land for relatively cheap and then be able to pay it back later, makes Kansas a great landing spot for these African Americans who are coming here to get more freedom. But this man right here probably has the most impact on it. This is Benjamin Pap Singleton. Pap Singleton was born in slavery in 1809 in Tennessee. Eventually, by 1849, he is going to escape Tennessee via the Underground Railroad. He's going to go to Detroit for a little bit, go into Canada, but then he's going to return to the States at the end of the Civil War. By the 1870s, Singleton is involved in a movement to try to get newly freed African Americans their own land in Nashville. One of the first places that Singleton looks for land is down here in Cherokee County in southeastern Kansas, where I happen to have grown up. He scouted the area, saw that it was lush with greenery, had plenty of streams, and was just a great land to buy. As they're entering into negotiations to buy land to establish a colony in Cherokee County, lead and coal are discovered, and land prices shoot way up, so much so that Singleton knows him and his organization can't afford them. He then looks to Dunlop, which I talked about in a previous video, where he establishes his first successful colony. Pap Singleton is going to become the face of the Exoduster movement in the 1870s. He's going to testify before Congress, talking about the successes that he's had in places like Dunlap. He's going to talk about the success that Nicodemus had, even though Nicodemus was not an Exoduster colony. However, not every colony was a resounding success. There was hardships. I mean, you're living on the plains of Kansas. A lot of the early settlements, they were living in dugout houses before they'd either run out of money or the harsh land wouldn't support what they wanted to have happen, which happened to pretty much every farmer in the 1870s in Kansas. He does create an alliance of African-American business owners, leaders in Topeka, where he wants to create a powerful party where they can come together and get political influence and influence Republican leaders, and they do. Pap Singleton is going to pass away in the year 1900 at the age of 89 years old, where he established his new home in Kansas City, Missouri. His final resting place is at Union Cemetery in Kansas City today. Pap Singleton was the most influential face of the Exoduster movement and brought people to Kansas for opportunities that no one saw before. And what better place than Kansas?